General and I and Lori and Ricky was a guest at the round table. We had quite a time, didn't we?
It was the best one that I've been to, and if I may say so, without sounding patronizing, and I told you this earlier, you were the highlight. And the reason was because it was right on the heels of the death of Billy Graham. Mm-hmm. And you gave a very emotional explanation of how Billy Graham came to see you to tell you he loved you when you were in prison. Yeah. And that, I think, started that round table off just right. Yeah. And it was very emotional.
You're not only a general, but you're an ordained minister from under Rick Joyner, under Morningside. Is that right?
Morning Star.
You're not going to hold that.
I mean Morningstar.
No.
And yes, I'm part of his ministry, his network of churches.
Mm. You know, you said something that possibly you think the president may be impeached. They're really hell-bent on impeaching the president.
No doubt about it, Jim. If the Republicans lose the House of Representatives in the 2018 election, Nancy Pelosi's #1 objective is to impeach Donald Trump. Now, what does that mean? First of all, he will get impeached, and there will be a handful of Republicans that will probably vote with the Democrats to impeach him. Pelosi needs 24 seats to reverse the House for her to be back as the Speaker of the House. And she has made no bones about the fact that she wants to impeach him. And then you watch some of her acolytes like Maxine Waters and others that are just constantly hammering on this theme. Does that mean the Senate would then remove him? Not necessarily. If they hold the Senate, which is most likely that the Republicans will hold the Senate, because there are a lot more Democrats up for re-election than Republicans. Mm-hmm. And some of them are in battleground states where Trump won by sizable percentages, so they're vulnerable. So they probably won't get the Senate. But if they impeach him in the House, what they do is they discredit him and they make it far more difficult for him to usher through his agenda of the things that he has set out, the things we've seen him doing in this first 15, 16 months. So, yes, they will impeach him. I don't think the Senate will remove him, but it still discredits him as the president.
Oh, my goodness.
You've been in service to the country, what, 36 years?
Yeah,
Is my
36
right?
years.
36 years serving our country, and you were the United States Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence under President George Bush.
Right.
What's some of your favorite things you did?
Well, I raised 5 children.
There it is, right there. That's good.
You serve on the Family Research Council as the Executive Vice President.
I retired in 2007, and I taught for 10 years at a college, but in 2012, I agreed to go back to Washington to serve with Tony Perkins on the Family Research Council, and I'm the Executive Vice President, and I went back very reluctantly because I didn't want to go to Washington. But now I feel that I am exactly where the Lord has called me to be, and I have no plans, no intentions for leaving there until either the Lord calls me home or makes it very clear that my time there is over.
Right.
You spent 13 years in the Delta Force?
Yes. I spent 13 years in Delta Force, and I was one of the founding members of the Delta Force. What a great privilege that was, and of course that my service in the Delta Force was really the highlight of my 36 and a half years in the military. And I've written a book called Never Surrender, where I sort of highlight the key operations and key things that I was involved in during that time, and it was a privilege to be able to serve there.
And you raised 5 children in that time.
With your beautiful wife, Ashley, I might add.
That's exactly right.
She is absolutely beautiful. We met her at the inaugural ball, and I'm like, General, you have a beautiful wife.
Yeah, and I am so proud of her because she's just, she's a woman that has come through some rough times in her life and has just survived it all. And now, the other thing you need to know about her, though, is she does take in stray dogs, too.
Oh.
So I don't know if I was one of those.
I don't think that's true, but
Now, you have grandchildren.
I've got 6 grandchildren.
6.
And we're hoping for more, yeah.
Yes.
We've got 6, and we're hoping for more.
amen. Nothing like grandchildren.
Yeah.
Don't you love your grandchildren?
I do. What's that saying? If I'd known they were so much fun, I would have had them first. Yeah, that's the way I feel. I do. I love my grandchildren.
You know, so much is happening in Washington, and when you come, I like you to let us know. I don't know, last week Rex Tillerson was let go. I guess it would be a nice way to put it.
Let me say this. Rex Tillerson was the only nominee that Trump made that at the Family Research Council, we openly objected to Rex Tillerson at the very start.
No.
Yeah, we did. And what does it mean that Rex Tillerson was asked to step down? It means that Trump is at the end of the line in terms of the resistance that he is getting from Rex Tillerson. You see, Mr. Trump made very clear when he was campaigning that he believed that the deal with the Iranians, that put them on a pathway to having a nuclear weapon, was an abysmal deal because there was nothing in it for the United States. In fact, the United States wound up having to pay them $150 billion and got nothing in return. And then Rex Tillerson was on the opposite side of that. So you would assume that if he accepted the job of Secretary of State, he would understand what the president had said during his campaigns. And he made it very clear that he wanted to get America out of that deal and reimpose sanctions and stop the Iranians from getting this nuclear weapon. And Tillerson fought him all the way on that. And there's a couple of others that have as well. But Tillerson fought him all the way. He was the primary guy that had to deal with these foreign agents and the foreign leaders on this issue. And finally, I think Mr. Trump said, you know what, you're not getting it, you're not cooperating with me, you're not helping me to achieve my agenda, and I'm going to bring in Mike Pompeo, who is a wonderful choice.
Yes.
What do you think about what's going on inside the White House, and what about the changes? And are changes good, do you think?
Well, I think change is good. Look, I think that we need to recognize that if you don't live in Washington, Washington just consumes people. And you were talking, no kidding, you're talking 16-hour days, you never less than 12-hour day. Wow. And a lot of people run in there wanting to be in the administration and only to find out that they have no personal life whatsoever, and as a result of that, they make it known that they really don't want to be there. So a lot of them just leave. Now, in the case of people like Tillerson and